Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up. That means we are live. And that means the time is upon us. And the players are all met, so we are going to get started. That would be places, everybody. Places. Thank you, thank you. Well, welcome, friends of the fandom. My name is Steve Wannall, the writer and director, and I would like to welcome you all to tonight's special online staged reading of William Shakespeare's The Wrath of Khan. Now, first, I'd like to provide a little primer on what it is you are about to watch. This is a classic science fiction tale of revenge and confronting one's mortality, an epic space battle between the formidable Khan Noonien Singh and the heroic Admiral James T. Kirk. A now legendary story that you may already be familiar with, but with one important twist. The entire script has been transcribed into classic verse, specifically Shakespearean iambic pentameter. This experimental fusion of Renaissance poetry and modern pop culture may seem like an odd choice to make, but personally, I find that one is only made that much more epic and enjoyable by the other. I sincerely hope that you will enjoy the words as much as I do, and that you have as much fun watching and listening as myself and the talented cast have performing it. And speaking of the cast, please stick around after the conclusion of the reading so I can give them a curtain call and introduce each of them to you. We're now about to begin, but keep in mind that what you are watching tonight is a staged reading and not a fully produced production. Our actors are all reading from a script. There are minimal props and costumes, and we have only had the benefit of 2 rehearsals. It's going to be unpolished. We are still familiarizing ourselves not only with the script, but with the technological platform with which we are presenting it. Some of us have stronger internet connections than others. We're all using different devices with different cameras and microphones. There may be the occasional mistake or technical hiccup, but we will forge on for the sake of your entertainment. Tonight's performance has an estimated runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we will be running without an intermission. Luckily, thanks to our online venue, no one will ever know should you decide to take your device to the bathroom to keep watching. So, with that being said, and without further ado, I proudly present to you our first ever online staged reading of William Shakespeare's The Wrath of Khan. Enjoy.
William Shakespeare's The Wrath of Khan. Act 1, Scene 1. Spotlight up on Savick, who sits center stage in the captain's chair of the Enterprise.
Each one of us be tested in our time, and now that time hath here arrived for me. I, Savick, now hold title of command, and submit entry into captain's log. On this day, the star date of our Lord be, noted as 8130.3. Our starship Enterprise embarks from Earth to Federation's edge with routine task. Destination Gamma Hydra shall be. We pass along the zone thus marked as neutral, and though no quarrel we anticipate, still great be responsibilities wait. This chair, this ship, this crew, mine to command, and utilized by my logical judgment. Eyes look to my hand, ears bend to my voice, and as yet unearned trust placed in me. Pray by mission's end that trust become earned. The ship be stalwart and I be prepared, with heaven's rich bounty laid out before us, systems all do read, normal and in function.
Lights up on the Enterprise bridge. Spock, McCoy, Uhura, and Sulu are at their respective stations.
Section 15 recedes as we go forth. Ahead of us, Section 15 doth loom, our path remaining straight and unrelenting.
Nay, Mr. Sulu, stay the ship's advance. An arc parabolic we must now plot, so as not to violate neutral zones. An act which may constitute warlike stance to the empire of Klingon beyond it.
Aye, Captain. Our course change is now projected. The curve be broad enough to ensure us permittable passage along borders.
I crave now your pardon, Captain Savick. This my channel of communication that I have employed for calls with distress hath now sounded alarum. There are those near enough to call to us, whilst they be steeped in boiling desperation.
My thanks, goodly Lieutenant Uhura. Relay yon message so that all may hear.
Imperative is our predicament. Know that the origin of thy calling be the innocent vessel thus bestowed with the name of Kobayashi Maru. We are in time of periods 19, away from our home port of Altair 6. Hapless as a babe that hath learned to crawl, we have been struck by a gravitic mine. Our power now gone, with penetrated hull, we have sustained many casualties. Woe and dread for Kobayashi Maru.
Fear not, good sir, thy pleas are answered. Yon coordinates relay I pray thee, and with good haste for thy message be plagued, with static noise and doth asunder break. Send thy coordinates, renew thy cries, where thou speakest to the Starship Enterprise.
Enterprise, our fates rewrit. Our position doth be adrift in space, Gamma Hydrid, Section 10 as charted.
Alas, 'tis well within the neutral zone.
Our hull be breached, our life support doth fail, all our hopes and futures now rest on thee. Assist us, Enterprise, we beseech thee.
There is more that...
Attica's comms go dead.
There is more that must be known by data. What word hath been enscrolled ere now on this? What's been said of Kobayashi Maru?
Our subject be a carrier of fuel, designation as third-class neutronic, with a crew numbered 80 and 1, and chartered passengers 300 more.
Damn the misfortune of its current lie. We are bound to intervene by duty, which holds place above all other concerns. Caution must now give way to bold action, lest their cries become snuffed out by the void. Mr. Sulu, thy skilled hand I entreat to swiftly plot a course to intercept.
Obey your clear command I shall, although I would be remiss in my sworn duty as master of the helm were I silent. For the captain must know the consequence should our ship reach the neutral zone.
As captain, I am omniscient of my responsibilities, Mr. Sulu.
And hear my estimation, dear captain. We are but 2 minutes hence from their ship, and let the crew now be warned of our state, for we have entered the neutral zone.
This crossing signals a violation of treaty that we now hold in contempt. We may by history be found wrongful, our mere presence construed as hostile act.
Prepare our chambers to receive transport. We shall locate survivors from afar and beam them hither as though they were light.
Yet hold our approach, their signal be lost.
Alarm! Our sensors reveal deception. Cruisers of the Klingon Empire appear. 3 ships in menacing form approach us. Bearing 316 Mark IV, they close fast.
Their image project on our forward screen. Now too late to retreat from this folly. All hands report to stations of battle. Armor us from the impending attack.
Our encompassing shields are now deployed.
Our words must be true shield that we must employ. They must be informed by hails to their ship. The Klingons know not of our good intent. Should reason interject successfully, we may yet avoid a confrontation. Tell the tale of our intent to rescue a crew that strayed too far from harbor's calm.
Would that I had the means to tell this tale. I cannot send word on frequencies all. They jam our signal and are deaf by choice.
What's more, they mean to attack us in sooth, unless their swift vanishing distance lies.
We stepped knowingly from the precipice, sadly misinformed in our false belief that we are somehow more than mortal souls. Now we languish in a chasm so deep as to render us blind from light above. There is naught but to cut our loss and flee. Prithee, good Sulu, remove us in haste.
I will endeavor to try, my captain. Yet we are confounded by the Klingons. I fear their torpedoes have now been loosed and pursue us dart-like as lizard's tongue.
Evade! Evade! Recede from the assault!
An explosion rocks the bridge. McCoy falls dramatically.
I beg a response from our vessel's heart. Engineering report of damages.
The sharp bite of missile's foul hath pierced us. The energizer that doth carry us is slain, and forever now of no use. The shields that did protect us from Han's fate are now in waning throes of sure collapse.
All's not yet lost whilst other power remains. In auxiliary thrust thus to engage. Prepare all batteries on my command. Let fly all our phasers and hold back not.
Another explosion rocks the bridge. Uhura falls.
No weapons have we left to use, Captain, absent be all source of ignite fire.
Yet another explosion rocks the bridge. Sulu and Spock fall.
Spock's declaration is in sooth, Captain. There be no contingency left to use, for Reaper's hand hath claimed our crippled ark.
'Tis done then. To the pods to make escape. Send forth the buoy which contains our logs.
Scene 2. Lights change, the alarms cease. Enter Kirk.
In this farce for now, thou dolts, thy time's done.
The bridge crew all revive, not dead at all.
We appear to have lost Lieutenant Savick to a connection issue. We will have that in just a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to go and read her lines. Oh, wait, she's back.
I am back.
Savick, my Lord Admiral Kirk. That's where we are.
Oh, excellent. My Lord Admiral Kirk, I beg your thoughts and petition your mind for suggestion.
My suggestion for you, Savick, be prayer. The spurious mission is concluded. The examination now also done. Thy state is one of abject helplessness, too crippled to fly else but to thy death. For 'tis certain this be in store for thee. The Klingon rivals thou thought to evade, alas, are not known to prisoners take. Captain Spock, the simulation's ended.
Training's at 10. There will be a lesson. Report ye all to briefing chambers now. Yet in prelude thou must repair this place in preparation for another day.
Exeunt Spock, Uhura, and Sulu.
As it is said, physician, heal thyself.
Be that the extent of your repartee? Dost thy wit begin and end with one quip? Or didst thou not take heed of this playing? What say you of my act, if it please you?
To wit, a scholar of Thespis I'm not. And what ills young Savick? Be thou still here? Art thou resigned to share the ship's demise?
Forgive my presumption of speech, my lord, but I do believe I am betrayed here. The exercise set in this enclosure scrutinized my abilities of rule, yet all my wits in form and unfairness.
Wherefore?
A victory was unattainable.
By my troth, a no-win situation is an ever-threatening circumstance, which looms o'er the head of each commander, waiting to drop whilst our guard be unkept. The curse of command gives fault when faultless, with the captain bearing blame for all things. So very like a poor stage manager, thou calls the lives of others like a play. Only some days thou art cursed with no script. One may execute all decisions true and still yet fall victim to fate's cruel hand. Can it be that this probability hath not occasion to trouble thee?
Nay, my lord, I must confess it has not.
In staring down the reaper's cursed scythe, we compose our actions just as in life. We must give answer whether prepared or no. In times of true peril, we must make choice, knowing well there is no off switch to throw, and when our chosen path betrays our kin, their souls lost in spite of our good intention. We must know the why of our own discourse. If triumphant in days of tranquil calm, yet not when our charges slip from our grasp, we entertain a vast discrepancy. Our character, do you not agree?
As I indicated, my admiral, the thought's not yet in my considering.
Then perhaps thou might now ponder this day, when trapped by thoughts of gleaning its purpose and battling the consequence of choice. Remember my words and judge thyself true. Thou art now dismissed and may carry on.
Exit Savick.
Why this tedious breaking of cadets? Would it not be of an easier vein to crew the vessel with experience?
Of experience, thou dost mean the old? Galloping thusly about the cosmos be a sport left for the young, doctor.
Enter Spock.
Art thou not shuffled off this coil, Sir Spock? Or perhaps thou loiter with a purpose, an assumption that I might give thee news? Specifically thy cadet's performance and what efficiency rating I deem?
As they are mine to make provision for, I am understandably curious.
They did destroy the simulated ship, and as I recall, thee along with it.
The scenario infamously known as the Kobayashi Maru exam doth frequently rain havoc on its prey. 'Twas designed for failure, and that it does. None are given quarter in the testing, and therefore deserve it in the grading. In days of yore, the admiral himself did assail this mad scheme thrice in total. The solution for which you are now known has stood the test of time for uniqueness.
Verily, it did possess the virtue of never having e'er been attempted. But let us dwell no further on this theme. I must give thee thanks for this gift.
Kirk opens a book.
You have oft been fond of antiquities.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Be this a message thou hast veiled for me?
Nay, not a message I am conscious of, except, of course, to make salutations on this your commemoration of birth, what mayhap surely be the best of times. And now I must escape the hour's advance and heed the beckoning of enterprise. My presence is chief before you inspect. And you, Admiral, whither goest thou?
Home, good Captain Spock. I bid thee adieu.
Exit Spock. Scene 3. McCoy produces a bottle, 2 glasses, and a small box.
Why, bless me, good doctor, what hast thou there?
As a gift horse may be full of Trojans, so too many bottles contain Romulans. In celebration of your birthday, Jim.
Hail from Romulus. Be not legal, Bones. Thy respected profession must know this.
Perforce it is used medicinally. Some connections transcend all politics. I am enamored of a cargo ship that stows its prized wares through the neutral zone, destined for responsible physicians. Be not priggish in your accepting it.
It hath been bottled in 2283.
Indeed, yet know the contents there within doth patiently take time in fermentation. But allow me the honor of serving libation whilst thou ponder this next gift.
If Romulan ale be this one's prelude, I shudder at the thought of what comes next. Just pray thee say no aphrodisiacs from Klingon doth await me in this box.
Nay.
Kirk opens the box to reveal a pair of reading glasses.
Sooth, I am at a loss, my good man Bones. The earth shall fall ere words escape my tongue, yet I am here struck quite dumb. 'Tis charming.
As all men pass the summit of their youth, they needs must call upon such assistance. Should they desire to play at normalcy, Retnax 5 be a miracle for most, though for you an inflammation thwarts it, thus demanding a solution former. Medicine may be at apex of use, but ancient remedy sometimes wins out. Dumbstruck though you may be, 'tis in good form to at the very least offer your thanks.
I thank thee and raise a glass in tribute.
Oh, damn it, Jim. For the love of man, what ails thee? When a name day others past 'tis joyous. Wherefore is thine more a funeral wake?
Lecture me not, Bones. I've enjoyed the ale. I've shown gramercy for all the regard. 'Tis celebrated and much obliged.
Thou wouldst make believe thy age as a burden and the gift of thy years to be a weight. But thou and I are both keenly aware neither age nor affliction doth vex thee. Thou art resenting the gift of thy rank and feeling caged as a prisoner. Thy chambers have but become thy dungeon, and the computing console thou must work is now become the shackles round thy feet. Thou desirest to be like a comet, leaving thy memory behind in space as thou cross the galaxy, stem to stern.
Spare me, please, thy notions of poetry. We all, each one, have duties assigned and responsibilities to uphold, in whatever ilk our rank doth require.
Poppycock, thou art hiding behind rules. From thyself thou seek to be veiled, good sir, and to live in self-imposed exile.
Oh, be not a miser with thy words, doctor. If thou hast thoughts to my diagnosis, deliver me swiftly thy conclusion. What dost thou really think of my impasse?
Jim, I am thy doctor and more thy friend. The command thou hast newly left behind must be returned to thee, and post haste, else thou become part of this collection. Thy post reacquire, the stars find again, ere thou allow this folly to take root. Reclaim your station, and be once more bold. Make haste, before you really do grow old.
Scene 4. Bridge of the Reliant. Lights up on Terrell and Chekhov.
Pavel Chekhov, first officer am I, a Federation Starship Reliant. Do enter my account for the ship's log. Know this be the year of our Lord, that is, the star date 8130.4. Our destined end of SETI Alpha 6, we now at last in orbital approach. With command of biblical origin, henceforth named Genesis, is our project. Devoid of all life our planet must be, ere the new birth of Eden can commence. Though the search be long and the way unknown, a path to a test site must still be forged, and until this requirement be met, this rule of lifelessness for our palate, the experiment shall remain undone.
Prithee maintain us our standard orbit, that we may scan again the world's surface, and when thou hast made this redundancy, give direct report of thy conclusion, and tell me doth there exist any change?
I must answer, sir, in the negative, as the atmosphere be quite limited. A harsh and vilified conflagration dominated by crayon gas and sand with the piercing winds of high velocity. It is assuredly incapable, sir, of the support any life form doth need. And yet I cannot quiet this query I have oft given speculation to. Must the world be absolutely lifeless?
Do not tell me thou hast found a change.
One dyno scanner reads a minor flux and energy source we had ere not seen.
What new damnable happenstance be this? Canst thou be sure of thy interpreting? 'Tis like that the scanner simply has fault and lies out of a need for adjustment.
The theory bears investigation. I could many a hypothesis make, if suppose it to be a matter particle, preanimate and caught in the matrix.
'Tis well then we should relay our finding. Dr. Carol Marcus will want to know. Therefore I should command thee to the compeg. If it be transplantable, we will do.
Aye, Captain Terror, I will obey, though her reply will sure be known to you.
Scene 5. Lights up on Carol and David in Regula 1 Space Laboratory.
Do mine eyes hear aright of thy report? If so, I needs must straighten out this thought. Thou dost believe it small what thou hast found, enough to transplant hence from its locale?
In sooth, thy hearing's true. 'Tis our belief.
Within the realm of likelihood it is, that this be but preanimate matter, a particle not worthy of thy consternation.
And yet that self-same realm of which thou speak must by definition contain more truths. Clear understanding thou needs must have here, else thou defeats thyself with a vagueness. Be there so much as a microbe of life, and this show of creation be thwarted. An inspection ere we commence, I pray, movable in nature, it has to be.
Thou mayest bet, doctor, that we go hence.
Lights out on Terrell and Chekhov.
Do not presume to have kittens, mother. Should our work here be one of wagering, then Genesis will be a boon to thee, and thou shalt be remembered henceforth in single breath with all those you succeed. 'Twill be Newton, Einstein, Sirach, and thee.
Many thanks to my offspring I must give, for thy respect to me is boundless true. Yet thou art betrayed by thy demeanor, David, thou art vexed, and I wouldst know why.
My nerves do tremble by fault of Starfleet. I confess to a great apprehension, as the godlike power we attempt to wield is vulnerable to perversions great and misuses truly terrifying. Of new life we seek to be creators, for the good of civilizations all, but others not so in motivation. What we hold as a remedy for ills, the opportunistic see as treasure, to be looted and spent on raw malice. 'Tis too easy to weave a lily vine into a war staff for wielding in rage, a weapon forged from a symbol of peace deployed for devastation and murder rather than the medicine we intend. What will be the value of innovation if millions more do weep than do praise it? I do remember a man of thy past who, like an altar boy, would thusly strut in his high, valorous air of duty. 'Tis exactly a man of this stature I fear the most to be in charge of us.
Be it Jim Kirk thou refers to, and no, thou art mistaken in thy assumption. Though he be a soldier and I his Troy, 'tis certain James Kirk was no altar boy.
Scene 6. Tyrrell and Chekhov on the Reliant.
Prepare thy soul for this brief flight through heaven. Energize and beam us to yon planet.
Lights flicker as the stage crew changes the scene from Reliant to cargo container.
Chekhov, beest thou sure of our placement? For this fits not the description thou gave when painting this planet for my mind's eye.
In the bullseye of our target we are, as the tricorder doth read to us in the garden of SETI Alpha 6. Yet again our instruments do fail us and break the commandment of false witness.
These appear as carriers of cargo. How be they here and in this aged state? Wherefore doth they lie here? Was it a crash? If yea, then what hath become of the rest?
Tyrrell sees a small tank with moving sand inside.
What curiosity doth now lie here? Strange sights and questions, many assault me.
Chekhov discovers a labeled uniform.
Botany Bay. Botany Bay. God's blood! We are in need of swift egress, Captain.
There's mission to complete. What grabs thee, man? Hast thou lost thy sense and forgotten thy oath?
The signal no longer penetrates the iron shell where we materialized. We must break free of it to open air if we are to catch our beam of light home. Haste, my lord, haste! Sell thy command for haste!
Enter a group of hooded figures. Khan and Joachim remove their hoods to reveal themselves.
I live, yet here be a ghost. Thou art Khan.
I know thee not. Thou art but a stranger. But thou hast face I am loath to forget, and never did I think to see thine more. Certain I am that thou art Chekhov called.
Chekhov, how dost he acquaint thee, pray tell?
My lord, this man be a villain most foul, his era misplaced, his genes engineered. From a century long past he doth hail, when men sought to build a warrior class.
What wouldest thou with us? Good sir, I demand.
Naught there is that thou can demand of me. Thy position be one of subjugation, so low as to aspire to slavery. As for my state, I cannot provide thee with even the basest of thy requests. Thy tattered remains of people here seen are but shadows of a once mighty crew, the company that did service a ship called by one and all as Botany Bay. 15 years ere now were we marooned here by order of one Captain James T. Kirk.
Those that here attend, we are of Starfleet.
Have peace and save strength. Spare all of thy words, for they will not sway those whom thou address. 2 centuries ere the day of thy birth did my people make an oath unto me that I might dispose of their lives at will. So deep in me is their trust thus entrenched. Hast the tale ne'er been told to amuse thee? Is thy captain thus ignorant of us? Our Botany Bay in deep space so lost, till Enterprise did wake us from our sleep cryogenic of some 200 years. Not a mention of this from the captain?
By my truth, I admit to ignorance, for I have never met Admiral Kirk.
Admiral. So, never were thee told how Admiral Kirk Did 70 souls into exile send to dunes of barren sand and angry wind, so that he might slay us with our own lives? Only these cargo bays were we to have, and naught else was there here to sustain us.
Thou dost lie. All fairness wert thou given. Live well, thou good on SETI Alpha 5.
Thou dost now stand on SETI Alpha 5! Yon planet number 6 hath exploded a paltry 6 months from Kirk's departure. Did our planetary neighbor thus die? Our orbit did shift, our atmosphere choked, and wasteland was here in place of our home. Kirk, being admiral, never came back, our plight so insignificant to him. He was bothered not by our progress. Only by intellect so well enhanced did save my crew from certain extinction. From earth I did rise, my legacy great, not unlike a prince with millions in thrall.
Full of holes is this memory you claim. Hospitality did the captain give. Thy host was repaid with deception foul. Thou didst conspire to murder and to steal. His ship and life both thou wouldst have taken.
'Twould seem thou did not expect to find me. Thou didst think this was SETI Alpha 6. Why art thou here, I ask? Why art thou here?
Khan crosses to the small tank.
Hast been acquainted with this resident? Should I provide thee with an introduction? Indigenous life there be none left here, save for one small menace that I do keep. What dost thou think? Art thou suddenly mute? 20 subjects once beholden to me now lie 'neath the sand due to this monster, along with them mine own wife beloved. 'Twas not committed in one fleet moment, and death's icy grip did not swiftly clutch. Nay, the reaper's hand did caress them first. 'Tis the progeny that unseen finds thee, intruding upon thy flesh through the ear. They do make then pilgrimage to the brain, embracing the cortex as a viper. Should thou playest host to one such devil, thou wilt offer no denials henceforth, agreeing to all commands from then on. Late in their unwelcome stay they do grow. Follows madness, agony, and then death. Pets these are, though not domesticated.
Khan's crew seizes Tyrell and Chekhov. Khan removes a pair of SETI eels from the tank and puts them in their helmets.
Khan, thou canst not do the deed thou ponders. Duty was Captain Kirk's only mistress.
Joachim puts the helmets on Tyrell and Chekhov.
Peace now. Thou art taken. Aye, that is well. And now thou art helpless to resist me. When I ask once again, why art thou here? 'Tis thy new duty that thou wilt not shirk. Tell me where I may now find James T. Kirk.
Act 2, Scene 1. Lights up on Kirk, Sulu, Uhura, and McCoy in a space shuttle.
To inspect a full crew at attention, 'tis a hated pastime of mine in sooth. I despise the responsibility, necessary though it be for my rank.
And far opposite margins, you and I, for I do instead be most delighted. As our splendorous craft looms before us, I am awed by her magnificent frame, an ornament of silver hanging proud against the spiral galaxy's backdrop, mighty saucer crowning a sleek form and flanked on both sides by warp-powered nacelles. More than mere spacecraft is this grand machine. A blessed union of form and function, she graces every port with her presence, bringing with her hope, if thou be a friend, or fear, if thou art less honorable, Though she be many years as like my kin, and all parts bear familiarity, there is still exhilaration on sight. Our first and best assignment was this ark. One should be reveling at any chance presented to go aboard Enterprise.
I do in fact profess a thankfulness, but 'tis for thy presence at the ship's helm, e'en if only for 3 short weeks of time. Perforce, I do question our childlike crew. 'Tis like they cannot maintain a true course.
Lights up on Enterprise docking bay. Spock, Scotty, Savick, Preston, and crew members stand at attention as Kirk and company enter from the shuttle. Preston sounds a bosun's pipe.
Permission to come aboard, Captain Spock.
You are most welcome aboard, Admiral. My crew should bear familiarity. Trainees all, but well guided as of late. And as they know you, they have grown quite fond.
Indeed, as one, we have made mockery of both life and death in simulation. And what ho thou old mongrel of the stars! No ship complete absent one Mr. Scott. I am predisposed to trust thou art well.
If I am proper in my response, my lord, I must confess a recent malady. A wee bout that Dr. McCoy did fix.
That's so. Do tell me of this malady.
Oh, the greatest affliction of engineers. 'Twas a most terrible case of shore leave.
I do understand thy meaning, and pray, what here be this newly hatched egg?
Admiral, I am the engineer's mate. By rank and by name, midshipman first class. Peter Preston I am called, if it please you.
Then, Mr. Preston, be this thy first jaunt, this thy inaugural training voyage?
Verily, my lord, indeed this doth be. Though I do still be mint in my condition, I am eager my duty to perform.
Perhaps then, inspection begins with thee. The engine room shall bear first scrutiny.
I did correctly anticipate this and worked the new crew unrelentingly. You may have it on my authority. All is in order and does function well.
That, Mr. Scott, will of all certainty be a change of circumstance most welcome. Are thy cadets ripe for the impending? This be but a minor cruise for training, ready to fly to points non-distant.
The order need only be given, sir, and my young charges execute the task.
My engineer, the word is then given.
Aye, sir. We are all then yours to command.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Enterprise bridge. Lights up on Spock and Savick.
Savick, thou art muted.
I have unmuted myself. Many thanks, Spock. Always he doth defy my expectation. Images I build ere he is arrived, and like walls of Jordan, he topples them.
What be there, Lieutenant, to surprise thee?
Merely the humanity he doth bear. Many qualities of rank he carries, with a royal air of nigh confidence. His presence lays claim to all our attention. His grand authority be not in question. Yet for all this he be just so human.
No one lays claim to perfection, Savick.
Enter Kirk, McCoy, Sulu, and Uhura.
Attend ye all and pause but this moment. Thy admiral takes the bridge presently. My lord, word hath been given from Starfleet, our quest is affirmed and now manifest. Enterprise departure hath been cleared.
All's well for us now to clear all moorings. By the command, Savick, it shall be so.
Aye, sir. Moorings clear and running lights on.
Gramercy, Lieutenant, thou hast done well. Pray tell me, hast thou had occasion yet to pilot free a ship from space dock's clutch?
Nay, sir. Not a once, being still novice.
Then thou art obliged to take her out. Move us by thy discretion with all care, for everything there's a time that was first.
Aye, sir. It is plain this time of firsts be mine. Good Sulu, I must have thee at the helm, our thrusters aft engage, and give them power.
Wouldst thou a tranquilizer hath need of?
Thrusters do breathe as like a dragon. A quarter of total power we do spend. On impulse we are moved away from port. And as a slave that hath been new set free, we are now masters of our destiny. Navigate we can in directions all.
Yet whither shall we aim ourselves, Captain?
To Captain's discretion it shall be left.
Then Captain shall defer to the helmsman. Mr. Zulu, thy fancies may indulge.
Exeunt. Scene 3. Lights up on Carol David Jetta in the Regula 1 space laboratory.
Be that now the end? Doth our task conclude?
The banks of memory do burst from store. No information further can we load. Not one byte, one pixel, nor character might we yet squeeze in amongst the data. In times to come, we must design larger, lest our program escape its boundaries.
And who would build such a device as this? I, for one, would not dare to undertake.
Marcus Superior, I must inform the comm channels which do bend hyperspace, alert of messages now incoming. 'Tis Starship Reliant that doth call you.
If it please thee, Jetta, receive this call.
Chekhov appears on screen.
USS Reliant is hailing thee. Again, Reliant to Regula 1. Do come in, my Regula 1. Come in.
Commander Chekhov, we do receive thee. This be Dr. Marcus at Regula. Thou art clear in thy communication and may conduct business thou intends.
'Tis well that thou canst hear, Dr. Marcus. Not far afield doth Reliant now stand. En route to thee we are yet 3 days out.
En route? Wherefore? Prithee, what means thou this? And 3 days be a confusion of time. We have not been expecting to see thee but 3 months hence, and yet thou says 3 days? What caused for this sudden change of schedule? Wherefore now this exponential decrease? Be there some unexpected motivation? Hath something yet occurred to move thee thus?
To be sure, 'twas no surprise occurrence, only confirmation of our promise. Ere now we did check SETI Alpha 6, and flawless it did pass our scrutiny.
This answer doth serve to more questions make. How art thou pressed to fly hither so soon? This be not within my understanding.
We are but commanded anew, Doctor. On the new orders doth Reliant now act. When at Regula 1 we doth arrive, we shall presume to make transfer of files. Materials all we must commandeer, pertaining to thy project, Genesis. Ahead we are to forge with planet's test. SETI Alpha 6 be ripe to transform.
What construct of hell be this treachery? What imaginings of grandeur hast thou?
Silence but a moment thy indignation. Commander Chekhov, this be faltering, irregular, and out of order be.
I do but relay that which is ordered.
Continue the inquisition, mother. By whose order wert thou then commanded?
The order did come from Admiral Kirk.
I knew it. I knew 'twas him all along. Military greed hath beaten reason.
This be improper, Commander Chekhov. I hath no intent to surrender thus. Reliant or no, 'tis unauthorized. No access shall I grant to this our work. Our materials shall stay as they are.
I must give apology for this then. The order given I cannot rescind. Confirmed it is from Admiral James Kirk. Prithee prepare to make delivery for Genesis. We will demand once there. Materials are thou wilt us to send. Now this connection, Reliant, doth end.
This be a muddle, a fault, and a mistake.
Mistake, I think not. We are here alone. On leave is everyone, and they did wait till there were few remaining to oppose. It was intended that Reliant be ours, that we might see through them as our own eyes, not that they might make turnabout like this.
Clear as glass now what Starfleet did intend.
It would indeed seem, yet I still have doubt.
Did tell you before, yea, time and again, that scientists are but pawns to be played by militant hands that sacrifice them.
100 years of peace can Starfleet claim. Thy interpretation of this event, I cannot, nay, will not subscribe to it.
Thou mayest be right. Thy words do have sway, yet still the Reliant is on her way. Scene 4. Enterprise Bridge. Lights up on Kirk, Spock, Savick, McCoy, Uhura, and Sulu.
There be a change from our encounter last. Lieutenant Savick, thou art transformed. Thy tresses are made in different form. Didst thy Vulcan self to fashion succumb?
Albeit a slight metamorphosis, assured my lord, this be regulation. May I beg of frankness with my words, sir?
With self-expression thou hast no problem. Nay, thou art quite courageous with thy words. Although thy breath may be spared by my guess, thou dost ruminate still on thy exam, and are bothered by thy performance. The Kobayashi Maru still plagues thee. No need for yea or nay, thy face doth prove.
I did fail in the task that you gave me, the situation I did not resolve.
And this be the point, Lieutenant Savick. No resolution is therefore to make. 'Tis a factor of the program installed. All paths of escape be obfuscated. A victory be not the test's true function. Be it a test to see thy character, to determine the strength of thy nature.
That I should be so bold as to ask you, what was your response to this unfair plot? One cadet as I and learning command, how fared you on the unwinnable test?
Ask thou should sometime. 'Tis a good idea. That was a bit of hoodwinking for thee. Be not so sober in thy disposition.
I have heard tell that some do use humor for to diffuse an awkward interaction or attempt to ease a worrisome soul. Difficult and illogical concept.
We learn these things when we do apply them.
I do thank you, sir, for your good counsel. Perchance we shall converse on this ere long.
Exit Scott Savick.
Do I detect true that her locks be changed?
Thou dost ask the wrong man. I notice not.
A wonder and boon be Romulan ale.
The matter most urgent for you, my lord. Incoming message to Admiral Kirk. My compec from Space Lab is received. Of regular one doth originate. By command of Dr. Carol Marcus.
I thank thee, Uhura, and will respond. Do send it hints that I might take this hail.
Aye, my lord, it shall presently be yours.
Fair eyes yet again settle on you. If it doth rain in your world, it doth pour. There can be both drought and famine at work to deprive the masses of all desires, and your sinks with bounty would overflow. At very least, in this latest selection, there can be none green as leeks in their complexion.
It is within my recollection, Bones. Thou art practitioner of medicine, and as such should knowest the great hazard of opening the wounds of old afresh.
Apologies that my words have struck true.
Carol appears on screen.
Jim, I do call across the stars for thee. Heed thee my summons. I pray thee, heed me.
Carol, thou needst fear not, for I hear thee. Thy words of urgency I do receive. Wherefore dost thou distress in such manner?
Why hast thou demanded this requisition? Our Genesis be in its infancy, and thou wouldst snatch it away as a thief that comes in shadows to make mothers mad. I do beg reason triumph and guide thee to wiser judgment and understanding. Thou cannot abduct Genesis from us.
I know not what you mean of Genesis. I do not seek to pilfer or defraud, nor do I command others to do so. Who doth bid to swindle you with my name? I would not misappropriate what's yours, yet it seems you thinkest in opposition. What villain hath led you to conclude this? Who doth threaten to burglarize you?
Thy on-screen counterfeit I see plainly, but words thy lips do seem to form ring not. There's only silence in thy image, yet undaunted I still must question thee. Yet let yea or nay be an answer to me when I ask if the order came from thee.
What order dost you in worry speak of?
Thy merciful aid I must implore thee. As firm as an oak my feet I do root. Till authorization be forthcoming, 'tis not proper, and so I'll not abide. If all the universe be against me, yet still I demand true authority, and question the morals of this command.
By my troth, there be no authority. No order hath been cast to deprive you.
A course of action from thee I beseech.
Lights out on Carol.
A counterfeit hath receded to black, and pleas of despair replaced with silence. Damn the gods! What befalls us, Uhura?
'Tis not a fault of our making, my lord. Her transmission of distress hath been cut, and this so done at the source of her call.
Queries now flood me and beg for answer. Those what would still hold sway o'er me must hear, and I would know what knowledge they possess. An alert for Starfleet must be drafted. By way of subspace our headquarters reach, for this be in great need of more discussion.
Aye, my lord, I should know your mind by now.
Scene 5. Reliant Bridge. Lights up on Khan and Joachim.
A line be drawn twixt us and Enterprise, and like a silent train we follow it. We are ready and intercept we shall, yet may I speak to you, my sovereign?
If thou must, Joachim, then I shall hear thee.
All subjects you claim do stand by your fate, and are resigned to follow where you go. Yet, might you still pause to consider how our freedom once thought lost is now attained? We have means and treasures like ne'er before, that give us the reins to our own carriage, to go where we will and live as we choose. Our exile, once thought to be permanent, hath been scaped by fortunate happenings. The sharpened bite of death have since been dulled, that your intellect be superior, as the plans of your adversary fails. With this victory over Kirk, what's left? There be not need to defeat him again.
He doth dare to task me. He doth task me, and by the Almighty I shall have him. He hath not been defeated near enough till there be nothing left of him to end. There be no corner of heaven's expanse where he may still find refuge from my wrath, for at the far end of the universe doth lie the beginning of my vengeance. This righteous anger shall I load and aim till it be launched at him as a missile. I will give him chase round Nibia's moons, then again round the Antares maelstrom, and should he still evade my baneful clutch, I will hunt him across perdition's flames, before I could tire enough to quit him. He is the fox I pursue on this horse, therefore prepare ye to alter our course.
Scene 6. Enterprise. Lights up on Kirk and Spock in Kirk's chambers.
Complication hath here presented. Should regular one assume a lake's guise, then its tranquil surface hath been rippled. The calm of their isolation is broke amid fears of authority's abuse. Something's amiss, though I know not their plight. We are charged with the investigation and must repair ourselves to the survey.
I am possessed of a keen memory that serves me in this situation well. I am making recall of this venue as a berth to conduct science measures, a laboratory for research sake.
Upon receipt of our mandate, I paused to inform Starfleet we are but a nest of hatchlings, new emerged and innocent, no pride of lions, but a crib of babes. My protests, though well grounded, was in vain. Fate would not think to pass another jest, and has assured the task should fall to us. Of all vessels else we are separate, the quadrant be thus otherwise vacant. Thy charges, Sir Spock, are best known by thee, and I would know their mettle in thy view. How dost they fare in their preparedness, when the weight of true calamities press, and the jolt of mortal strifes shock the heart? How might they presume to nurse composure?
As history proves with all living things, each will according to his gift respond. I, of course, relinquish command to you, that you might use the ship at your fancy.
Nay to that, be it not necessary. I only require a hasty transport.
Be this a fictitious scenario, where the mission be to train for the real, then command in teaching capacity I am content to remain in service. And if the pretense give way to duty's call, 'tis a matter most clear in need of change. The officer of seniority rules, with word unquestioned. The post they assume, command they must by virtue of presence.
And still duty here may yet be nothing but misread messages garbled and vague. Take the ship, I implore thee, keep command.
From a false assumption you do proceed. I am Vulcan by birth, and therefore dry of human emotional investment. No ego have I to batter and bruise.
Thou art frequent in reminding of this. Thou wouldst insist logic be thy mistress, and she alone dictates thy action.
I would not dare surmise your ignorance of that which you already know so well. Be it a bold proclamation for me, the acceptance of your admiralship was an erroneous choice for you to make. Your first destiny be also your best, to sit in command of all of the stars. A captain's seat is where you do belong. A waste of material is all else.
I know the folly of debating thee.
That is indicative of much wisdom. Though true, your limits you don't always know, were I to invoke logic, as you say, then logic's edict be perfectly clear. Be there burdens that we must render aid, be there greater experience on hand, then we must yield to that experience. A circumstance hath left many in need, which creates a problem of mere volume, the solving of which a matter most plain. When there are many that do lie in need, their weight be greater than the needs of the few.
Or I suppose, than the needs of the one.
However superior you may be, in offices that rank above mine own, you do also hold the title of my friend. I have thus been, and always shall be yours.
Scene 7. Enterprise Bridge. Lights up on Kirk, Spock, Saavik, Sulu, and Uhura.
Desist the work of the Energizers, and prepare ye a platform for my voice.
The Energizer's grandstone is halted.
Your word may now be broadcast, Admiral.
The devil may oft play havoc with plans, and here has his mischief meddled with ours. Arisen now is an emergency of unfamiliar brand and composition. Protocols thou hast all learned of late, which now quite earnestly come into play. Be it a standing order from on high that I now commit this imperative. 'Tis 1800, make note of the hour. I do hereby assume to take command. Enter in thy logs that history may know. Kirk once again sits in the captain's chair. We will endeavor to plot a new course for a lab not far called Regular One. In engine's cradle, I hope, Mr. Scott?
Aye, sir. I anxiously await your word.
The time's come to abandon our restraint. Advance us at a warp velocity.
Warp speed you demand, warp speed shall commence.
No need be there to instruct my action. The regular lab be our terminus. The course be laid in, our plot hath been set.
Engage our warp engines and fire us forth.
Prepare all for velocity past light.
Aware I am of the cruel suddenness your uninitiated souls now meet. Not one among you could anticipate, and for this I must give apology. I must now ask for expediency in your pilgrimage to maturity. Grow up you must, and with more haste than thought. Warp level 5 should propel us well.
So it is we must now be remorseful for the joyous crew now cancelled by fate.
Upon your revelation of course change, I have made hail attempts to regular. My efforts, it would seem, do prove heedless, as Dr. Carol Marcus remains curbed. I cannot elicit response from them, though they be no longer jammed as before. There is naught but a hush and a cold void carried across the solar tempest.
In precise calculations I can make, there are possibilities in 2 in all. The response thou desirest to receive is beyond their capacity to give, for they are frustrated and unable. This be first in the line of likelihood. The second then be that they are unwilling, which begs the following question of why. A factor of 5 as our warp speed gives, an arrival of 12 hours 43. Then shall our answer be made manifest.
She did proclaim refusal to submit, would not give up Genesis, she did say. What in God's holy name does this disclose? Who hath been the cause of her reticence? If forced to yield Genesis, then to whom?
There still be incomplete variables. If I am to make an analysis, to wit, I know not what be Genesis, save that which is told in biblical text.
We must to my chambers retreat a while. Uhura, do send for Dr. McCoy to captain's quarters. Report in all haste.
Aye, sir, it shall be. Your request be sent.
Mr. Savick, the con now be your charge. Carry us with care as we warp ahead, and bring us not to ruin in my stead.
Exeunt. Scene 8. Lights up on Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in Kirk's chambers.
Indubitably the sick bay be set to receive all manner of injury. No ills but that which can be staunched with ease will pass through my recovery ward beds. Now I would know the reason for my work. Prithee divulge why my labor hast need?
Thy answer, Bones, lies within databanks. I did request of this my computer to circumvent security access in all regards to Project Genesis. Heed thou now this counterfeit's explaining.
Lights up on Carol.
It's Carol Marcus I see on screen.
Verily.
Hear ye, Federation of Planets, and attend this my project's proposal. The subject be Genesis here laid bare. What did it mean to have this moniker? Why this name? Wherefore make such a reference? In terms most plain, 'tis a name well suited, as life from lifelessness be the working. Be it a process at the heart of us, where molecules do form and make structure. At a level subatomic we do work, shifting matter to life generating. A new structure yet still equal in mass. Our labors and stages are divided into escalation of our boldness. Stage the first, behind doors be conducted on scales minute and most manageable. Stage the second, much grander in attempt and of necessity and lifeless dark. When thrice in experiments we do delve, our lofty goal will be planetary. No, our intent for devices usage shall be to make introduction in space, where forms pre-selected for lifelessness. Dead moons and solemn rocks will we target, and thus, having delivered our device, the effective creation be instant. Matter reorganized, brand new life made. Once a dead moon becomes breathing Eden, where beings we choose are sustained with ease. Our simulacrum fails in the telling. It is reformation but a fraction true. A horizon of possibility, limitless and potential doth await. If funding us should please the Federation, we will grant the wish to see the conclusion of these experiments and life's inception. Famine and populace be hand-fasted, and consider we must this cosmic hitch. The usefulness of our process be plain, no solution else be as paramount. The proposal hath now been concluded. For thy consideration, I thank you.
Lights out on Carol.
I am left but to say fascinating. Genesis it doth literally be.
Power of creation in human hand.
Hath their experiment then proceeded?
A year gone by since this record was made. If we are to make practice of assumption, then 'tis like stage the second be conquered. Ere this time there must have been achievement.
'Tis like indeed, but by the dearest Lord, dost thou think we are righteous, intelligent? Is our knowledge so close to the divine we can demand the key to heaven's gate? So much to suppose in hypothetics. If lifeless rock be not in sooth lifeless, what then should befall the life existing?
The new matrix assuredly triumphs, existing life thus yielding before it.
New matrix? Thou talk'st of the new matrix? Dost thy brain have occasion to hear thee?
The moral implications of this scheme I attempted not to evaluate. There is simple truth in the history that destruction does claim ease over creation.
Yet this time be past, history's rewrit. We may now wield both powers in equal stead. 6 days was it said to model the earth in biblical verse and mythos of old. 6 days to form ocean and sky and land, with life being the crown on the new throne. But 1 day of rest in 1 week of work, and this from a God purported to be omnipotent in his power to create. Yet stand to thy God, for now there be this. Why wait the 6 days used by the divine? No longer days when 6 minutes suffice.
Art ruled by thy passions, good doctor. 'Tis certainly a flaw that will fell thee, if thou should examine logic's dictate.
Damn all of thy god-forsaken logic! Where dost thou find nerve to speak of logic? Of Armageddon and death we do speak, thou spleenish, green-blooded reptilian!
Enter Savick.
My admiral, there is need of you hence. Indications we received by censor of a vessel making hasty approach.
Of what allegiance dost thou make of her?
Its identity hath been pinpointed as one of ours, sir. 'Tis the Reliant.
Make preparation, Reliant, to hail. Let us to the bridge to greet this ally.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1. Lights up on the bridges of both Enterprise and Reliant simultaneously.
Make slow our approach, one half of impulse. Do not be in haste, but be casual. Let us maintain this false air of friendship.
Our approach we do slow as your request. Impulse power now but half of standard.
Reliant in our section, our quadrant, like a daisicle as they draw nearer. No urgency in her demeanor, yet no pausing in her unrelenting stride.
My Lord Admiral, 'twas laid out ere this, and I needs must quote you the regulation, as written in General Order 12. When on approach of vessel, friend or foe, when actions do speak but captains do not, when communications be yet silent.
Many thanks on the Admiral's behalf, Lieutenant. Thou must know he be aware of the regulations that thou speakst.
Aye, sir. Now being said, 'tis obvious.
Yet within the possibility their comm system fails as a fire in rain.
There are things numbering a great many gain explanation by this theory.
They doth wish to speak and request your word.
They wish their curiosity be fed, yet I will serve them with no sustenance. Give them only static to feast upon.
They run still without screen or shield's defense.
But of course they do. Wherefore should they fear? We are all one family, one fleet, happy and familiar in all respect, unsuspicious and assuming the best. For why should things be not as they appear? Oh, my Kirk, my captain and friend of old, dost thou not know the proverb of Klingon? The simplest wisdom of warriors, so profound in its visceral baseness? Revenge be a dish, and that best served cold. Indeed, very cold it doth be in space.
This behavior be damned peculiar, of a fashion unsettling and strange. Advance our alert status to yellow, that we might be prepared for danger.
I shall then our defense fields energize.
Their voices ring out in a message now. They do tell of an overloaded coil, which bend their communications awry. Their chamber's coil defeats their whole system.
Confirm this if thou wilt, Spock. Be it sooth?
Upon my scan, I can see coil emissions within operating normality.
They raise no shields and unguarded remain.
Then let us set a precedent for them. Unleash our sword and shield and make for war.
Our shields I now lift, our phasers be locked on target as a heavy ballista.
We are in the crosshairs as a target.
Bring our shields to bear. In all haste, raise them!
Open the vents of hell and fire! Fire! Fire!
Explosions rip through the Enterprise.
Sulu, I implore thee, our shields, raise up!
I do try, my lord, yet power have I none. Like a helpless catatonic patient, we are trapped inside a shell that moves not.
I must hear from Mr. Scott Uhura. Those damned channels, turn off and call him!
I have him, my lord. Mr. Scott, report.
We hang on as a leaf to dying tree. Not yet felled, but not long for the high branch. Fuel we have, but the energizer's out. I have all the fire and yet no furnace. We cannot quit. We do not have the power.
Harness then a different horse with thy reins. Switch to auxiliary. Try what you can.
I shall use all means I can here, Summer. If power can be had, then I shall find it.
Give report of damage. Where be our hurts?
Unseamed is the belly as a great whale, and just as helpless as if on the beach. We have been hit in exactly the worst. They did know how to best wound our vessel.
Who did have this knowledge, and why attack? What means this unprovoked fury from them?
I cannot say for certain but one thing. The auxiliary power you suggest be insufficient for us to escape.
Then stand ground and fight we must to the last. What fleeting power left to phasers divert?
Alas, 'tis too late, Admiral, they fire.
All hands find purchase and brace for impact!
The Enterprise bridge is hit.
Mr. Scott, my savior, what doth remain?
Only the batteries keeping our breath. All power else be many minutes aloof.
Minutes we have not, nay, perhaps seconds. Canst give me power for phasers at the least?
But a few meager shots and then no more.
Their shots made mockery by their shields.
By hell's gate, who be this adversary? What demon hath taken a friendly face to abuse our trust and butcher us so?
Admiral, your answer be forthcoming. Reliance Commander now makes contact, and doth wish for terms of our surrender.
Then give him reply. Surrender we shall.
My Lord Admiral, dost thou hear aright?
Do this that I have said while there be time.
I will put the visit on forward screen.
Khan appears on the Enterprise screen.
By my troth, it cannot be. Thou art gone!
So, the dark attic of thy memory still holds a place for me to occupy. Much power do I hold, yet I cannot help but be moved deeply by thy remembrance. It is of course not within my questioning that my mind holds a place for thee as well. Aye, a large residency dost thou keep.
What be the meaning in attacking us? How hast thou seen fit to permit thyself? Wherefore be the crew of the ship thou hast seized?
I did think my meaning had been made plain. Vindication be what I seek from thee. I will avenge myself upon thee, Kirk. By this hand thy power hath been deprived, and more work does this hand intend to pledge. The next it shall take from thee be thy life. When one more past this vessel I commit, 'twas not enough to simply end thee, though. This be the reasoning of my calling. Thy full comprehension of who it was to send thee away from thy empty life. 'Tis Khan that hath beaten thee, Admiral.
Yet me thou wish, then myself I give, if that be what it take to appease thee. Beam me from hither, the means we do have. 'Tis easy enough to bring me aboard. Yet let this strife be ours and none other. My crew need not be punished for my faults. Prithee, Khan, spare them in their innocence. They know thee not and hold no quarrel with thee. Do service to thy intellect. Spare them.
Thy proposal be well spake, Admiral, and I will answer in kind with my counter. The terms thou hast requested I accept, if the conditions I describe be met. In addition to thyself to dispose, my quiver thou canst fill with more arrows. Thou wilt data and material give in all manner respecting Genesis. Then shall my desires be properly quelled.
Genesis, I know not of what you speak.
Admiral, far too great my intellect to suffer the insult thou dost attempt.
I needs must implore a continuance, but a passage to honor thy demand. Likely be the information thou seeks hath made nest here in our databases. With time, by your leave, I can recall it.
But a literal minute I shall give, seconds numbering 60 and no more.
He He hath at least unwittingly informed he does not possess Genesis as yet, else there be no need in demanding it.
We must maintain a ruse of compliance, for he doth observe us still from the screen. Nod thy head as though orders thou receive, and this will any suspicion abate. The subtext of our performance, Savick, be thy swift action at command console. Reliance console mirrors this one here, and charts of its operation we have. Make no indication. Find us these charts.
I do believe I understand your plot. It is the prefix code you seek to use.
Should we have met on even battleground, the freedom to maneuver would be great. As it lies, we are dealt a weaker hand, and this contrivance now be all we have.
I have found the chart you seek, Admiral.
The hourglass sun falls relentlessly, a quarter of thy time already spent.
Prithee, turn the glass. We move as we can. Our bridge hath been smashed in all thy fury. The computers now inoperative. Tedious now are chores once done with ease. The interval thou gave be not enough.
Enough for the desperate which thou shouldst be. What time thou hast be a luxury, sirrah, one which I may revoke at my pleasing.
I do believe it be coming through. Damn it, these ages' eyes for spectacles need.
Digits 5 there be in the prefix code. 16309, the number B.
I fail to understand what means this code.
Added to the list of things thou must learn, be the wherefore of star vessels' workings. To each class a ship, to each ship a code, assigned in random combination. All conveyances of this magnitude hereby protected from interference by all those who would seek to be our foe. We now make an attempt to interfere, the interlopers none other than us. With code in hand, we may control their ship. Their consoles, our consoles. Their helm, our helm. Our aim be for them to lower their shields.
Though sadly based upon a great assumption, we to proceed as though the code be sooth. Khan's cleverness be more than noteworthy. You may have made change to the combination.
3/4 of thy interval elapsed, and along with it as much of my patience.
We work, Khan, but a question, I beg thee. Our compliance done and our data sent, what then shall become of the deal we struck? What assurance but thy word do I have?
Assurance hast thou none, no word did I give. Thou hast no leverage in our bargaining. Thou dost exist solely by my mercy. Thou art mistaken if thou believes else. By my troth, thou hast no alternative but to trust what I say to be in sooth.
Thy point is a razor's edge keenly felt. Stand ye by then for our transmission's flight. Thou shouldst receive what I have for thee now. Mr. Sulu, thou art weapons trigger. Affix our phaser's itinerary with journeys in being right upon them. Make target of them and await command.
Our phaser's path be firmly locked in place.
Thy time now has elapsed, Admiral Kirk. What flies across space next be up to thee. It shall be thy transmission or thy crew, reduced to mere particles of matter.
Here comes thy answer. Deliver it, Spock.
Our shield hath been unseated from our grasp. It falls away as though seized by phantoms.
Bring it to bear again. Raise it once more.
I cannot move shields. They answer me not.
Give them new command. Find yon override.
Culminate the heat of the sun and fire.
Explosions rock the Reliant.
Return this treachery! Release all hell!
We no longer have leave of weaponry. They incise our skin and wound us deeply. No more do we have photons or warp drive. The advantageous height that we did claim hath now been leveled as a merchant scale. No recourse left have we but to withdraw.
Nay, nay, I'll not leave him still breathing. Nay!
There's no arrows left to loose upon him. Withdraw we must if we wish to fight again. The Enterprise hath not even a crutch to bear the weight of its now crippled form. She hath no shelter or haven to seek. They must be here remain, our vengeance can wait.
Lights out on the Reliant. Scene 2. Enterprise bridge lights up on Kirk, Spock, Savick, Sulu, and Uhura.
Victory from loss, you did achieve it. Sir, you did the thing that no other could.
Nothing. That did I accomplish. No thing. The extent of my labors did amount to little more than a base cuckolding with mine ankle shackled by my breeches. I was hapless kicked square in the codpiece. Verily, the affliction of old age hath taken hold of this once fertile mind. Shouldst regulation remember, Savick, then regulations keep quoting me still. Presently we are wounded most foul and are in need of proper tourniquet. We must discover our degree of hurt.
The hub of our driving engine reports the power hence robbed from us hath been made new. It is only an auxiliary, though at impulse power we can now proceed.
Then make best velocity that we may, onward to regular one as before.
Scotty enters, holding the dying midshipman Preston.
Has the order been given, my Admiral?
Aye, midshipman. Aye, the word is given. At the speed of warp we do forge ahead.
Preston dies.
To the duty he bore he remained true, as others succumbed to panic and fled. To his post he did firmly plant himself, not shaken of responsibility, though keeping to his task he knew meant death. Many a battle-hardened veteran have I seen with much less determination to hold fast in the face of such terror. He thought not of consequence to himself, but only of the fate that would befall the comrades to the left and right of him, should he not close the book on his duty. No power would there be left without his hand, no life without his unflinching resolve. Never can he collect the debt we owe.
In sooth, Scotty, the loss be palpable.
The desolate regular looms ahead, a lonely moon with only a space lab in orbit high to give it company.
Space Station Regular One, I do call. This be Enterprise that doth approach thee. Prithee, respond to our cry from afar. Dost thou hear? Cannot thou give return? I hereby announce our arrival once more. Regular, our vessel be at your gates. Acknowledge us and give us sign of life. Regular One, this be the Enterprise. Dost read? Canst hear? Come make reply to us. They remain ghostly. Response there be none.
What say our sensors of this phantom lab?
Scanners and sensors inoperative. With fire were they washed and ushered past use. Blind guards all the station conceals.
Blind also to Reliant's whereabouts. They may yet linger nearby unbeknownst. What dost thou make of the object beyond, the planetoid from which the lab draws name?
Regular be in a class labeled D, consisting of unremarkable ores, in essence a rock of great multi-magnitude, hanging in space as planet's imposter.
Great enough to shadow the Reliant, in near perfect hiding from our detection. Scotty, I must beg of thee a report. Though our power may be naught but a flicker, can our transporters yet send us abroad?
You do ask for miracles, Admiral. Fortunate then my presence here doth be. Miracles can I create, yet know you. The pain we do suffer be but reflection of the grievous injuries to the ship. The life's energy that courses through her conduits bleeds like arterial spray. What's left be bare enough for one mere task. Should I endeavor to squeeze all we have, we mayest send but a few souls away.
Then away I shall go, down to the lab.
The lab be a place Khan could lie in wait.
Indeed, he hath already made visit, but he sought was not in attendance there. Those he left behind may have injury, and thus be in need of thy medicine. There still be much need right here among us. But what can be spared from thy sickbay bones?
I can spare none other than myself, sir.
Your pardon I do crave, my admiral. It was my instruction to quote the rules, and there be a general order here. Number 15 doth make statement of this. When beaming to areas hazardous, no flag officer alone shall make flight, and escort with arms to fight the unknown must share and endure what fate may befall.
There be no regulation of this ilk. Thou didst invent this absurd commandment. Yet, I understand thou wilt not be swayed. A party it may be, and so join us. Mr. Spock, I do give thee the ship.
Jim, I shall caution you to take great care.
Many thanks for thy concern, Mr. Spock. We will certainly tread most carefully.
Exeunt. Scene 3. Lights fade up flickering to reveal the Regular One laboratory as Kirk, McCoy, and Saavik beam in.
I should give report of presence of life. Alas, the signs are indeterminate.
We hereby move out. Unholster thy gun. Be not absent and set phasers on stun.
Jim.
McCoy discovers the bodies of the Regular One crew.
Your attention, the crew hath been slain. They do remain pliant, no rigor yet, means they hath lived but a short while ago, their lives snatched away within a brief time.
Carol, I'm glad be not here among them.
Saavik opens a locker to reveal Tyrell and Chekhov.
Admiral, my lord, come hither at once. There are those have survived this assault.
God's blood, 'tis Chekhov and Captain Tyrell.
Compose thyselves with ease. Thou art now safe.
Oh, sir, 'twas gone, it is to all of us. We did find him on Seti Alpha 5, lying in ambush as a coiled viper. Tiny, unnatural, worm-like demons invaded our ears to pilot our flesh. The noise of writhing louder than banshees. The bite of worms fork like scorpion sting. And when at last the unbearable blitz did quiet and become torturous calm, our minds did submit to his every whim. Lies we have said, actions not of our own, performed by him through our unwilling hands. Yet kept and retained the hair of his strength, and beat him we did through sheer act of will. He thought he controlled us, but he did not.
Captain, if thy wits are now about thee, thou must give answer to my inquiry. What then did become of Dr. Marcus? The materials held in her possession to those which Project Genesis belong. What of them, Captain Tyrell? What of them?
Find them he could not, though in force he tried. No scrap, no bit, no trace was left for him, having thus been erased from memory. Even the banks of data be emptied, leaving nothing but blank screens for to find. The lab's inhabitants were swept upon with the fury of a solar eruption that burns to death in its magnificence. With terror and agony they endured his torture, and spake still no single word, nor betraying hint to give his quest aid. Not satisfied with their whimpering cries, and owing no more wisdom than before, he did regress to madness of the wild. Their throats he slit, the lab tore asunder, and ceased he did not till time came for you. His need to rend you into fragments won, and so he departed for Reliant.
Did the crew of Reliant share this fate? Are they also by Khan tortured and slain?
In fortune's reversal, they are marooned on that self-same planet where he was found. Did the crew become stranded in his stead? His madness doth wholly consume him now, and you, the object of his mania. The wife he did choose and love, now a ghost, and for this he blames you and none other.
I know of his madness and of his rage, and most what blame he does place on my head. The pods of escape are not jettisoned. Only the transporter then gives answer. Did Khan see this console? Was he aware?
Not my impression that he did observe. His focus be keen on the people here in his attempt to wring out their knowledge.
The unit still hums like newly started, with no one having cared to turn it off. There was an escape, and not a return.
The mortal gashes those poor souls received was the currency that paid for more time. Their sacrifice let Genesis escape.
The logic to which I duly subscribe be once again challenged by events. The escape be mapped and chronicled here, with target coordinates on record. If the plan was executed by script, then Journey's End was one of certain doom. The goal they sought within Planetoid's core, neath the surface of lifeless Regula.
Stage the second, underground was to be. Underground, she did say, when completed.
What be the stage the second you speak of?
Enterprise. Kirk hails thee. Dost hear my voice?
Lights up on Spock, Sulu, and Uhura on the Enterprise bridge.
Spock does hear you, sir. Ready for your will.
Captain, how fares our wounded warrior? Do thy healing hands have effect on her? Or has the sting of battle turned mortal?
Admiral, should we take cue from Savick and follow our book's decree of action, toil would suffer from relativity, minutes seeming as hours and hours like days.
I understand thy meaning. Let's have it.
Most grave be our plight in terms of repair. Main power eludes us yet for 6 days hence, and that which runs us be temporary. Restoration of our status still fails. With 2 days hence for auxiliary, this be our fate as the book should have it.
As I hear thy assessment, I can glean that absent is the power to return us. No beam of light left for us to ride home.
Nay, my lord, at present you are marooned.
Then my mind be freed of choices, conflict, and decisions are here made easier. Spock, we will synchronize to an hour hence, for this be when thou should hear my voice once more. Should this fail to pass, new orders thou hast. Burn what fires thou can to move once again. A starbase being thy end destination, whichever one claims best proximity, and being further along yonder road, to where meddling vexes not thy calls, alert Starfleet Command to what has passed.
This order contradicts our heart's resolve. Whither goest us without our leader? The fault of your absence makes us guilty. Hard-pressed would we be to leave you behind.
I thank thee, Uhura, for thy kindness, yet know that silence from us speaks loudly. There will then be none left behind to leave. This then is farewell, and pray not goodbye.
Lights out on Enterprise.
Gentlemen, thou art left with choice to make. 'Tis either remain or go where I go.
This be no real choice for to make, my lord. 'Tis a risk you take, and we will share it.
Perforce then, we will commit to the path.
What path be this we presume to travel?
Why, the self-same path that made for escape.
I submit a supposition to you that this path lead to nothing but a void. What then be the quality of escape?
The quality of escape then be plain. Thou wilt escape from everything, Doctor.
Scene 4. Lights flicker as the stage crew changes the scene. Kirk, McCoy, Savick, Chekhov, and Tyrell beam into the Regula cave. The Genesis device sits in a corner.
And here I presume be our Genesis, as a maiden alone and unguarded.
Enter David and Jeddah with phasers drawn. Put up thy phasers, thou interlopers.
By all I swear to, 'tis the man himself.
Kirk and David fight. David is thrown to the floor.
Fight me not, thou young fool, thou art outmatched. We are not arrived to quarrel with thee. Say what hath become of Dr. Marcus.
What means thou this? I am Dr. Marcus.
Enter Carol.
Jim, beest thou here? Prithee, stay thy hand.
He did confess thy title and surname, as though none should be surprised by it. Tell me by thy troth, be this man David?
Mother, you do wrongfully interrupt. Our kinsmen of science we left behind are assaulted and slain by this man's hand.
Succumb not to this melodrama. Of course his hand played no part in their end. David, seize thy impetuous anger, for it doth prolong our difficulty.
Tyrell and Chekhov draw their phasers.
Fears do I have that this difficulty be only yet now at its origin. I do beseech thee now to remain still.
Chekhov, wherefore art thou transformed as this?
I beg your forgiveness, my admiral. Lo, I am quite powerless in my action.
I have held open the gates of knowledge that I may give omniscience to Khan. Hast heard what has transpired, your excellency.
Lights up on Khan.
I have indeed been present unbeknownst. Thou hast earned much favor, Captain Tyrell.
Yea, did I know there be treachery here, the multifaceted horse-son mongrel!
Tyrell fires. Jeddah jumps in front of David and is slain.
Captain...
Move not, lest ye be returned to stardust.
Thy orders were plain, yet we wait for thy action to catch up to our wants. What unforeseen circumstance delays thee?
All is well, sir. Nothing stands in your way. Genesis, I've pinpointed for you, and taking it be only a matter of beaming it to Reliance Chamber.
Patience. First there be a priority. Ere the weapon's exodus from this scene, thou must first, Captain, kill Admiral Kirk.
Your words I make effort to obey, sir, but it seems a war wages within me. I fight, I grapple to defy this task.
Thy conscience has no weapon in this war. Kill him now, that I might hear his death cry.
My lord.
Kill the man, I say. Slay him and be done.
Tyrell instead kills himself. Chekhov suddenly collapses and the Seti eel crawls from his ear.
What foul miscreant of nature be this?
Kirk vaporizes the Seti eel.
Khan, thou venomous blood-letting demon, thy cowardly provision hath failed thee. Wish to murder me, then do thy own deed. Thy hands will not be kept clean by proxy. Nay, thou must commit to action thyself. Dost hear me, thou counterfeit king? Dost hear me?
Kirk, my old friend, how is it thou still lives?
Merely know, old friend, that I live indeed. Thou hast by no fault of accuracy landed death blows on all save the bullseye, killing all in unfortunate closeness, but like a poor marksman whose aim doth fail, thy shots cannot find purchase on target.
Perhaps then the shots need no longer fly.
Lights flicker as the stage crew beams the Genesis device away.
Nay! Let not the prize vanish from our grasp!
Khan, thou hast it now, but possess not me. Thou didst wish my life, and thou wert denied. If this be the true end of thy intent, if kill me thou must ere thou can live on, then thou must come hither and make it so. By necessity, hither thou must come.
The fate which I have engineered for thee does far worse than result in thy demise. Kill thee I have not, but thou art wounded, and my desire now be to wound thee still. I shall depart and leave thee here stranded, just as thou didst once do to me and mine, sentenced to a living grave by neglect, forever entombed in this oubliette, a cold, dead outer shell of a planet, buried alive. Buried alive.
Khan! Khan!
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 1. Lights up on Kirk, McCoy, Savick, Carroll, David, and Chekhov in the Regula cave.
Enterprise. I pray my voice can reach thee. This be Lieutenant Savick, Enterprise. Can thy ear read the solar winds and hear? Lieutenant Savick calls thee, Enterprise. Pray thee give word that we are not alone.
Chekhov awakens.
Last he surfaces to consciousness.
Relax, good Pavel. The demon is gone.
'Tis of no use, Admiral. They hear not. Our every lifeline hath been severed. No channels for our use remain unjammed.
Our ship should be far distant by this time. She had strength to follow instruction. If that strength failed her and she did remain, then her days of crossing the stars be done.
'Twould appear that we are likewise finished.
My understanding of this conflict lacks. What agent of evil has caused our pain? Where does the responsibility lie? And above all questions else, who is Khan?
The tale extends well past mere anecdote.
It seems our destiny has seen to it that time for hearing tales be plentiful.
My stomach, perforce, has better of me. Be there provisions in this dark hovel? I cannot know the mind of any else, but for mine own part, my hunger grips me.
How is thy mind can turn to breaking bread, whilst our lot in life be as grim as this?
Our lot in life be a simple matter of ordering true our priorities, and order the first be but survival.
There be food enough in Genesis Cave to sate the hunger of 100 years, or however long we may find ourselves here.
Be this not Genesis then where we stand?
This, the product of Genesis? Nay, sir, where thou didst stand be a hand-carved feat, by toil of Starfleet's Corps of Engineers. They did arm themselves against the void and work tunneling for many a month. 44 weeks did they labor here, whilst our creation was made in a day. David, be host to these three if thou wouldst. Show them what it means to have food on hand.
We cannot but sit here and nothing do, nor can we unchallenged let fate remain.
In simple point of fact, we can indeed, there being no other recourse for us.
This be merely busy work thou gives us to distract and keep us from idleness, while matters of more cosmic consequence are decided elsewhere and by others, in ways we have no course to influence. Very well then, follow if it please thee.
My lord, are we resigned or be there plans? Do we surrender to complacency or entertain the hope of solution?
Thy teacher, Mr. Spock, is oft quoted, that there always be possibilities.
Exeunt Savick, David, Chekhov, and McCoy.
What thou didst request of me, I honored. 'Twas thy wish for me to remain distant, to stay removed from thee when we parted, and stay away I dutifully did. Wherefore then was I kept so ignorant? Why did you not grant me knowledge of this?
How so bold as to ask me this question? Were we still one flesh? Were we yet to be? Two opposing worlds did we inhabit, and paramount was my desire for him to nurse and grow in the one I called mine. No nurture could he have all off with thee. No proper childhood was there to be had by his father's side while chasing the stars. Truth be told, there is much he shares with thee. Prithee, do not recede, be not distant. Confide in me what resides in thy heart, what emotions hold thee, what feelest thou?
Somewhere above this lifeless planetoid be a man of my past 15 years gone, who now has made mission to end my days. You display me a son I have not known, whom it seems would be content to help him. This, my son, this my life that could have been and yet was diverted by destiny. Thou dost wish to know what feeling holds me? I am possessed of age. I am but spent.
Permit me to display thee something else, a sight perchance that will renew thy youth and remind thee of every early spring in the days when each new morn was new life. See this and know that the world was once young.
Scene 2. Lights up on Khan and Joachim on the Reliant Bridge.
Our labors done as your command implored. Our impulse power is now fully restored.
Most excellent done, my faithful servant. Now superior be on battle's pitch, unmatched in strength by the poor Enterprise. Yet where is she? Vanished into ether? Here did we leave her crippled and helpless, no choice but maximum 2 days adrift, and now there be but blackness in her place. Find her we must ere the end of this day, to hasten demise and blast her away.
Scene 3. Lights up on Kirk, Carol, McCoy, Savick, and David in the Genesis cave.
All that I see here was made in a day? 1 day, thou didst say? 'Tis not possible.
The matrix did one day become form, the life that now inhabits did follow, yet its birth be as swift as shooting stars.
Jim, look to this incredible wonder. What once was a cavern veiled in darkness, now a valley of living resplendence. Cascading falls and jungle's canopy, stalactites overcome by creeper vine, carpets of green clinging to once cold stone, endless and majestic under the warmth of an impossible man-made sunrise. All of Eden's forbidden fruit and more. We breathe not from bottled oxygen tanks, spewing our own recycled air at us, but from the toil of photosynthesis. No artificial climate sealed inside, a ship, but temperate breeze of nature. In all thy ventures and all thy travel, hast ever seen comparable to this?
There be no cook in the kitchen as I. Rest ye here a while, for a while we have.
Sir, we are victim to idleness. May I then request to know your mind more?
What be on thy mind that thou wouldst know mine?
'Tis about Kobayashi Maru, sir.
Art thou asking if we do play it now? That this scenario be the real test?
Nay, my lord, I would know your solution. When the scenario was put to you, and you did face the unwinnable plot, what was the course you did see fit to take? I should like to know for mine own pleasing.
Lieutenant, thou dost gaze upon legend. This be the storied cadet of Starfleet who makes claim as solitary victor of infamous no-win scenario.
Yet how can this be? What action took you?
I did alter the program ere testing, the simulation by me rewritten to make rescue a path now possible.
He did cheat his way to a passing grade.
I did but steer the test towards new conditions. It was thought worthy of a commendation. 'Twas seeded. I showed original thought. Losing be not a favored state of mine.
Then the crisis on which you lectured me was never an exam you had to pass. You have never faced the Reaper and flinched.
I will say to thee what I do believe. The inevitable dire happenstance truly devoid of victory, 'tis a myth.
Kirk produces the communicator.
Spock, this be Kirk. 2 hours have now elapsed. Is all now in readiness to proceed.
Lights up on Spock.
Our schedule followed to perfection, sir. Your position relayed to us, my lord, and we shall snatch you from the planet's cage.
As I did say, I do not like to lose.
Scene 4. Lights flicker as the scene transforms to the Enterprise transporter room. Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Savick, Carol, David, and Chekhov enter.
Spock, do you remember Carol, I trust?
But of course, my greetings, Dr. Marcus.
Hello and good day to thee, Mr. Spock.
They shall with me to sickbay, if you please.
Exeunt McCoy, Carol, David, and Chekhov.
Captain Spock and yourself had words betwixt, full of laborious details of woe. What of the hurts delivered upon us? It was reported we were immobile, with our salvation yet 2 days beyond.
Come, Lieutenant. Has thy logic left? Of all cadets in Starfleet's mighty league, there are none so familiar with the book as the one who oft quotes me regulations.
Where in the book explains what has transpired?
Regulation 40 and 6 Part A. If when the words betwixt factions friendly are subject to eavesdropping ears of foe, whilst war be waged and battle commences?
Yet speak ye not with hidden intention, when free and open is voice's connection. So, you did make performance of your words. Description of our state was but a lie.
The description was but exaggeration.
Our pretext was one of mere transposing. Ours became days in this our new language. Yet now do we suffer a reversal, as the hours we wish to have be minutes.
Below ship's deck designated as sea, the news be they are not operative.
Speak not of what fails, but of what still works.
There not much to report, my lord. That which supplies to us our motivation works yet only in partiality.
Be this the entirety of good news?
If 2 days we had, we might have moved towers. This was the best could be done in 2 hours.
Scene 5. Enterprise Bridge. Lights up on Sulu, Uhura, and Scotty. They stand as Kirk, Spock, and Saavik enter.
Stand to full attention, all crew present. The Admiral has arrived on the bridge.
Resound the alarm throughout the ship. Bring all to bear to stations of battle. What be our tactical standing in this? I am here besieged with many concerns.
The Reliant be faster and stronger. Like wings of condor, she will us outfly. And might of Samson, she will us outgun. Yet fate opens a door to Exodus. Nearby be the nebula Mutara, which lieth at 153 Mark IV. If we be the hare in this deadly chase, then there be the briar patch that hides us.
See thou, Scotty, this nebula ahead? What chances be to enter its embrace?
Our luck doth depend on how well we fly. The Energizer be hastily rigged with a great many bypassed connections, enough to make the string of lights festive as though we flew to a joyous occasion. Do not make our navigation rattle, but deliver too many bumps, I pray.
This, alack, I cannot make promise of. Be swift in on thy way to Engine's heart.
Exit Scotty.
There be a small hitch in this plan. My lord, within Mutara's clutch we shall be blind. There'll be vaporous clouds of cosmic gas and static discharge of lightning and fire. A maelstrom of star-birthing energy that will obscure our vision like a veil. Our displays will suffer ill performance. Our reliable armor shall fail us, hid by the briar but pricked by the thorns.
This then be sauce for the goose, as they say. Face to face, we're like peasants fighting gods. The nebula let us even the odds.
Act 5. Scene 1. Lights up on the bridges of the Enterprise and Reliant simultaneously.
There at last she doth unveil herself, not so wounded after all, I do see. Though we were led to believe something else that much sweeter, the victory shall be.
2 minutes remain in my estimation ere we breach the nebula's outer edge, and Reliant is closing the distance.
Be steady and stray not from the current course.
Sprinting, they tried to reach yon nebula, with the hope of escaping from our vision. Should their route succeed, we'll nary find them.
Give them explanation with fire.
The Reliant fires and misses.
Their salvo was in close proximity.
Merely they are expressing their frustration. They do not wish to lose sight as they will upon our penetrating Mutara.
Which will occur in but 1 minute's time.
They appear to broaden distance from us, which doth tell me our advance is slowing. Wherefore doth our velocity now wane?
We dare not follow where they seek to go. My lord, once inside the nebula's womb, we will proceed unshielded and quite blind.
They suddenly reduce speed to a crawl, no longer chasing, and now reluctant to follow.
Uhura, amplify my voice to them.
I have given you a stage to speak, sir, and you may fill it as it pleaseth you.
Greetings, Khan. The Kirk thou thought gone is here. Thy Deliberation sought my end, but thy method hath been tried and found wanting. Art thou then game to match wits once again? Care ye attempt to purloin my breath more? Dost thou have the constitution for it, or art thou now no longer kept by vengeance? Or perhaps thou hast conceded defeat to this man of inferiority, this man who haunts thy sleep and robs thy joy, who defies thy smarts and lives to spite thee. For I laugh at thee, Con. I laugh at thee and thy intellect most superior.
Jet us forward with full power of impulse.
Nay, my lord, I pray to you, have reason. This be their plan to level the high ground and put us on equal footing with them. Should we step into the trap we can see? Permit him not to knock you off your throne. You have Genesis. You have Reliant. You may have whatever you might desire.
Damned whelp, thou shalt give full power to me. No riches of the universe will please. I have business of hatred to conclude, and I will not leave till done the transaction. Burn the engines until our backs be scorched. Cease thy fool prattling and give me full power.
There need be no proclamation to make in regards to this man's consistency, for he resumes his chase even to death.
Either his or ours, for we now enter the hazy, dark embrace of Mutara.
Illuminate us for emergency. Give us only enough to see ourselves.
What be the state of our tactical eye?
There be no eye for us to target with. All that might aim in our steed has gone dark.
Bring our defenses to bear as a caution.
It is as I feared. No shields do we have, whilst inside the gaseous dark conflagration, I must ebb our advance ere we collide.
There be our target well framed in our path, and unaware of our silent presence. We are in league with the nebulous storm that veils us from sight as they sail right past. What then with weapons shall I do, my lord? Can I grab hold and secure our aim, for Mutara displaces faculty?
When thou canst not trust artificial hand, thou art then resigned to make thy best guess. Ready thyself, Mr. Sulu, and fire.
Enterprise fires and misses.
They emerge like coiled vipers at our back. Make use of our aft torpedoes and fire.
Be evasive in thy course. To starboard!
The Enterprise is hit.
Their soft undercarriage is exposed. Renew the attack in haste. Sulu, fire!
The Reliant suffers damage.
Palpable hits on both sides. Damage then. Mr. Scott, do not leave me in suspense.
Lights up on Scotty and McCoy in Enterprise Engineering.
I work beyond my capacity, sir. Yet there be urgency here among us. The maidens needs must be retired from use. The radiation, Admiral. I fade.
Mr. Scott, our engineer hath been spent. Who then be left to repair us from doom?
Lights out on Engineering.
What ho, Joachim? Nay, nay, art thou slain?
What other command hast for me, your grace? 'Tis done. For yours being superior.
Joachim dies.
Not an end this, for thou shalt be avenged.
Enter Chekhov, Carol, and David.
I am thusly of myself again, and seek your pardon. If you permit me, I will then endeavor to prove my worth. My hand may be of use, and he's yours. Mine ear not so damaged as to be deaf to that which you would command me to do. Prithee, allow me to earn forgiveness.
Never would I deny thee this request. If ready for the fight, then arm thyself. Weapons console is in need of a man. 'Tis yours to do us proud, Mr. Chekhov. Spock, where stands our foe by the reckoning?
By our port side and to aft of us, there be readings of energy yet faint. Sporadically, they do reveal themselves in a manner open to interpret. Be it an impulsive turn or merely an echo of the storm, I cannot know.
'Tis him, and not the storm, I am certain. He'll not break away from this madness now. He hath not set foot far too deep in the mire for his pride to feel clean upon return. Know ye that he shall surface yet again. The only question to beg is from where?
His high intelligence be not in question, but in experience he is green of root. The path he flies can I trace as a map, and patterns emerge like script to be read. Just as a map lies flat on the table, so does he flatly try to navigate, quite oblivious of the third dimension.
He sees but in one plane. Full stop our advance.
Aye, my lord, we do glide to complete rest.
Plummet us as if stepped from precipice, deep into an unobstructed abyss. Z minus 10,000 meters, straight down. Our light-guided torpedoes at ready.
Our photon barrage now claws at the gate.
Sharp as a blade, keep vigilant thine eye. Our target presents. Chekhov, give it fire!
The Reliant is hit. Khan is mortally wounded, and the rest of his crew slain.
And now must the hunter obey the prey. The blow we have struck puts an end to it. The nacelle on their port hath been rended free as a quartered limb from tortured trunk. They now exist only by our fancy, just as we were once a plaything of theirs. They shall see mercy and then know justice. Send Reliant thy command, Uhura. Bid them prepare for us to board their ship.
Reliant, the Enterprise now rules thee. Thy belligerent folly is ended, thy ill-gotten warship crippled and slain. No weapon left have thou to loose on us, and thy wings are now become featherless. There be no more haven where thou can flee, thy only respite the holds of our brig. Surrender, and prepare thyself for us, for thou shalt be relieved of thy vessel. Respond with receipt of understanding, or thy apprehension shall be hostile. Do not squander this chance for leniency. Surrender now, or be mercy denied. Choose wisely, Reliant, and surrender.
Nay, Kirk, this game hath not concluded yet, for to the last I will grapple with thee.
Khan activates the Genesis device.
Admiral, take heed. Something is afoul. There is a ripple that surrounds their ship, not unlike distorted air above flame. I can but call it an energy source, though the pattern be foreign to mine eyes.
This pattern hath danced often before me. I know it well. 'Tis the Genesis wave. This be no idle hum of energy, no harmless radiant emanation. This ripple will become a wave, and then the wave will become as a tsunami. What now are quiet notes will crescendo into a most perilous detonation. We did encode 4 minutes ere the blast. A mere 4 minutes, and the new matrix will overwrite our lives in one broad stroke.
In as little time can we beam to it, then the controls might be gripped and halted.
Nay, 'tis unrelenting, unstoppable. No hand may tame it once loosed from its cage.
Scotty, thou must hear of our desperation. Warp us hence, I beg thee, give us warp. If 3 minutes hence we do tarry still, then none will survive to report of it. Scotty, what ho, man? Be not now silent.
The path for your cry be open, my lord. Mr. Scott merely responds to you not.
Spock
Fly us.
exits.
Fly us from this peril, Mr. Sulu. Be it a run or a walk, we must move. However fast we may, then do for us.
We stride nonchalant as a jackanape. I pray our crawl be enough to escape.
Scene 2. Lights up on Enterprise Bridge, Engineering, and Reliant Bridge simultaneously. Spock enters Engineering. McCoy attends to Scotty, who is slumped on the floor.
Dost thy Vulcan mind escape thy thick skull? Yonder chamber thou dost make to enter radiates with the burn of many suns. The human race hath not yet birthed a man can stand this invisible bombardment.
Thou art oft fond of observing, Doctor, that part of the human race I am not.
E'en so I will not allow thee to pass.
As doctor, I must yield to thy wisdom. Tell me then, what of Mr. Scott's condition?
The injury be not mortal, at least.
Spock administers a Vulcan nerve pinch on McCoy.
I must give the apology, Doctor. Should time allow for logical discourse, I might then be disposed to oblige.
Spock mind melds with the unconscious McCoy.
For now, thou must remember what I do. Keep hold of me, should there be a sequel be.
Spock enters the reactor room as Scotty awakens.
Spock, thou mad fool, thy path races to death, and he'll not flinch if thou opens the core. Cease this action. Retreat, I implore thee.
Spock opens the core.
Dear God, no, thou impetuous ninny! Get out of there, thou art slaying thyself!
What time remains from the moment of mark? What left to live in ere we are scattered?
There be but 2 and 10, my admiral.
What of the engine, Scotty? Why no word? Damned be silence above all ill news. What now be the distance from Reliant?
Twixt us and the impending peril have we put 400 kilometers.
Little better than adjacent, methinks. It's done then. We are not like to escape.
Nay, thou cannot flee in haste enough. Thou shalt burn. From hell's heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake I spit my last breath at thee.
Sir, the mains are returned to full glory.
Blessings upon thee, my engineer Scott. Hold back nothing from us, Sulu, and fly!
Lights flash brightly as Reliant explodes. Lights fade up on Kirk, Carol, David, Chekhov, Sulu, Savick, and Uhura on the Enterprise bridge.
By the Lord, Carol, behold you this sight? Reliant and Regular both consumed amid bright, fiery rings of Genesis. They radiate forth the nebula gone. Its storm clouds now invisible ether, and as quick as 'twas expelled, it draws back, rallying round new singularity, already under our dumbfounded stare. A new planet forms from the cosmic dust. From this conflagration, our death denied, our own corporeal fiber was near added to the yarn this new matrix knits. Mr. Scott and workers of the engine, thou art most plainly masters of thy craft.
Lights up on McCoy.
'Tis not Scotty we have to thank for this. Jim, I urge you now to exit your post. Make your way to engine's cradle in haste.
Bones, what means thou? Who provided salvation? Why not say to me now instead of there?
Jim, I implore thee to trust. Make all haste.
I return the con now, Savick, to thee.
Exeunt. Scene 3, Enterprise Engineering, lights up on McCoy, Scotty, and Spock in the core chamber. Kirk enters.
Hey, you must not open the angry core. One crack of its lockjawed maw floods the room with radiant heat and poisonous air. I will rend asunder our very cells.
That self-same poison will do this for him.
Admiral, he hath already been slain.
His hour is now past. He but tarries here before his inevitable journey.
Spock.
Our vessel, be it now free of peril?
Aye.
Grieve not for what merely be logical, when there are many that do lie in need.
Their weight be greater than the needs of few.
Or as thou hast said, the needs of the one. The challenge of Kobayashi Maru I never did undertake until now. Pray tell me, what thinkst thou of my solution?
I have not authority to grade thee. Say thou art not done with us. Tarry, Spock.
I have been, and always shall be, thy friend. Mayst thou live long and prosper.
Spock dies. Scene 4. Spotlight on Kirk and in the Enterprise docking bay.
The purpose we state for our assemblage be one of respect for our honored dead. We stand over now vacant shell of he who paid full in his service to us all. The visage still plain, as yet he may live, but no more soul's light shining from within, the flesh now naught but an abandoned ship. Yet worthy of great note it must be said, though we remain here under sorrow's curse, remembering all that has gone before, and weeping for all that will not now be. Death resides in the shadow of new life, cast by the sunrise of a brand new world. Fostered into existence was this world which our beloved comrade did desire to nourish and protect at his expense. No vain or empty sacrifice did he believe this heroic action to be, and will not spend this time of remembrance in debate over his profound wisdom. What more can I say of my friend? Having thus made travels both long and far, and chanced upon innumerable lives, of all souls else I have encountered, verily, the utmost human was his.
Lights up on McCoy, Savick, Uhura, Sulu, Chekhov, Scotty, Carol, and David as the coffin is carried off.
The precious cargo of departed friend flies now to burial ground of new dawn. That Genesis' first soul be that of Spock. Attend all hands this send-off. Honors, hook!
The crew stands at attention as music plays and the sound of a firing torpedo is heard. Exit. Scene 5. Lights up on Kirk in Kirk's chambers. David enters.
Your pardon, I beg, if I intrude here.
There be no intruding upon me here, though in sooth my duty lies on the bridge.
Might I then impose on you ere you go?
If it please, we should find libation. I do still possess some Romulan ale.
Lieutenant Savik's words did then ring true. Mortality has never cornered you.
Not in such a brazen affront as this. Nay, I had not yet stared down the Reaper. Death have I cheated and tricked my way free, each time singing praises to mine own wit, flaunting all my ingenuity, proudly declaring victory o'er fate. Knowledge of nothing be all I can claim.
The knowledge you possessed was full enough when told you Savik to face death as life. Our character judged by how we present ourselves in action to both death or life. Was this not facsimile of your speech?
Words, David, just a collection of words.
Words do give birth to ideas of greatness. All good ventures must be spoken of first. Perhaps your ear should turn to your own voice. I did judge you wrongly on first meeting. For this, I must offer apology.
Be this the purpose of thy visit here?
Aye, there was that, yet also one thing more. I must confess to you of my great pride. For I am proud indeed to be your son.
Exit David.
Today I will enter in Captain's log. Stardate of our Lord, 81416. The Enterprise will now depart this place to SETI Alpha 5. Will we return, for Reliance stranded crew lies waiting. All is well, as well for us it did end, yet I am left wondering of my friend. I think to leave him forever behind, but what meant he by possibilities? Always they do exist, he did oft claim. And if sooth Genesis be life from death, I must return to this place again.
Enter McCoy and Carol.
Death be not as permanent as we think. In memory all may live forever, his eternal life ensured by our thoughts.
It is a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done before. A far better resting place that I go to than I have ever known.
I know not these words. Be it a poem?
Nay, 'tis but something Spock did try to say when we were celebrating my birthday.
As doctor and friend I worry on thee. Art thou well, Jim? Tell me, how dost thou feel?
Young. More now than ever I do feel. Young.
Exit Kirk, McCoy, and Carol. Enter the ghost of Spock.
Space. The blackened void is final frontier. Herein lies the tale of Starship's voyage, a vessel that bears the name Enterprise, commanded of a mission ongoing for the exploration of a new world strange, charged with the task to seek new life and discover undiscovered civilizations, intrepidly to slip the bonds of Earth and venture boldly deep past human sight to realms not known to anyone ere now.
Blackout.
Hello again, friends of the fandom. This concludes tonight's performance. But before I leave, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to the cast who read for you tonight. First is Stefan Walker in the title role of Khan. Next is Tom Plott as Admiral James T. Kirk, Scott McCormick as Captain Spock, Julia Williams as Lieutenant Savick, Dave Wright as Dr. McCoy, Tony Nam as Mr. Sulu, Nicole Mullins as Lieutenant Uhura, Dave Olsher as Commander Chekhov, Liz Demery as Dr. Carol Marcus, Arden Muscati as David Marcus, J. Purnell Hargrove as Captain Terrell, Madeline Reinhold as Joaquim, introducing Art Vidal as Midshipman Peter Preston. Reading our stage directions tonight, as well as taking on the roles of Jeddah and the voice of the Kobayashi Maru, is John Sadowski. And again, I am Steve Wannall, the writer and director of tonight's reading, and of course I also portrayed the role of Mr. Scott. That is our cast. I encourage you to browse the Facebook page on which we are streaming this event, where you can also find all of their headshots and bios, as well as a director's note written by yours truly. You can also click on the Shop Now button and donate to the show. All proceeds from tonight's performance will go directly to the cast, many of whom work in the gig economy and have been hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. And now, our revels have ended. On behalf of the entire cast, and from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for joining us for tonight's performance. Good night.